Sorry about that. Hello, guys. This is part four. Um, so let's continue. So I was gonna say that Chris Meister instantly shipped his tens over that flop, which leads me to believe he probably had, an ace X hand, which often tells me that he played that pretty poorly because he allowed Steve E to play correct against him. He basically folded. Um, let me pause this real quick, guys. He elects to play it too aggressive, which allows Steve E to play it correctly against him and fold. If he had just called Steve E's raise and basically check to induce a all-in bluff by Steve E, then that'd be better. But the fact of the matter was, I feel like once I saw those 10s versus the ace 7 there, and how Chris Meister played it really fast, like he did in the prior hand against Steve E, it led me to believe that he could have stacked Steve E, but he chose not to. So, anyway, we're going to continue. The Queen 3 offsuit on the button, I could have raised, but for some reason I didn't want to, in the sense because Steve E's rather short, and I felt like he's capable of shoving. Not necessarily wide, but I just don't want to call off. But again, we are at the bubble mark, so yeah, that definitely warrants a play. So maybe it's neither a good play nor a bad play by folding. Either way it would have been fine. Me raising and me folding. So obviously you can't limp that thing there. So anyway, continue. So Lil Zach raises, and he gets Stevie to fold. And Lil Zach shows Jack, which makes me feel better about the fold I did on the button. I elect to fold the 4-6 off, and interesting enough, Chris Meister 2x's it, which is funny because we got a shorty in the bigs with 2.5x hand, right? So this is really interesting. Now check this out. So you got a big blind here who basically screwed, right? And he elects to fold, which is kind of weird because he's getting such great odds to call and hopefully hit a flop, right? Chris Meister bets out here, cruising for a bruising, folds, and he picks a pot. So if I was in ton one nose spot, I'd definitely be shoving because you're getting such great pot odds, and you can't really get away from that. Especially on the bubble situation here, you can't really fold to the money here. That makes no sense. So that was a bad play by turn one no in my opinion. However, we'll see some magic here, I believe, and let's see what happens. Wait, actually, no, I take it back. There's no magic here. It's actually an interesting situation here. Chris Meister jams, and they both end up having straight on the river, which is really weird. I have 4-6 off here, try to fold. Little Zach had the big stack. So I'm in third place now. Remember, I was in second place initially. Went up to first. Now I'm back down to third. And so here we go. We're basically in the money now. Everybody's cool. Everybody's happy. That's when the basic wheels come off, so to speak. And so, if you look at our situation here, we're in pretty good spots in a sense. We got two short stacks here who gonna bust out soon. The only problem is we have a very aggressive and seemingly competent player to our left, immediate left, which really is not cool, right? Alright, I got queens here in the big. Queen for bruising decides to limp, I believe, and I elect to put him in. I could have just checked to induce, but I really felt like, I'd rather get him to commit his shift now, or just give him a fold because it's just one of the things where I don't know. It didn't really matter to me, but I felt like I had a better chance just doing it here versus on the flop. That was my opinion. But of course, I felt he was really weak by limping here, so he elects to fold, I believe, which is really weird. He limp folded, played it really weird. I mean, and you can see, guys, actually everybody's stats are pretty tight for the most part. I mean, my stats are very tight. Everybody else is somewhat tight, not crazy tight though. And yeah, so Lozak likes to show off his hand, which is interesting. H5 offsuit, I believe I fold because of the Chris Meister's raise. I would definitely be raising if it folded to me, and Chris Meister takes that down, which is nice. Jack 4 offsuit, I fold. Lozak, I believe he raises here. He pretty much fostered an image, Lozak, fostered an image where he is essentially given the license to steal pots, because he pretty much fostered an image where he's very aggressive, so people just kind of stay out of his way. Here I have I raise a little bit more than 3 times the big blind. I kind of messed up. I wanted to raise 2.5 times the big blind, but I ended up raising it more than so, which is a mistake, I think. But alright, so whatever. 2-6 off. I'm obviously folding here. And Cruising decides to shove it, and I think actually I might call here. I think, but I think I fold. I'm pretty sure I fold. Yeah, I fold. Yeah, I decided to fold. That's fine. And we got some crazy hands here. We got a queen versus ace king, and which is so bananas. I have ace 10 off here. I think this is kind of gets interesting here. I think this is a very interesting hand, and you know what? Actually, yeah, I think this was interesting. Yeah, it was. I thought it was the interesting hand, but it wasn't. So anyway, moving along. Stevie's really short. He's in the big. He correctly calls any 2 cards, and he manages to win there, which is interesting. Yeah, but that was the correct call by Stevie. He had no choice to call. I mean, he had pot odds. You know, it's whatever. So yeah, so now we're comfortably in 3rd place. We're just waiting to basically get the short stack out of the way so we can apply pressure and open up more. Lozak raises here. Chris Meister, I think he calls, I think. Or I'm not quite sure. I'm pretty sure I fold the queen 5 offsuit. Yeah, I fold it. And yeah, this is a frustrating fold. I mean, would have been nice if somebody had a hand so I can just shove. But nobody had a hand. So I decided to fold. Lozak leads out here. Chris Meister likes to call. And Lozak pauses, and then he leads out close to 2/3 stack, 2/3 pot. And Chris Meister tanks, tanks, and he eventually folds, I think. And interesting, Lozak shows 10-7 suited, I think, which shows pretty much everyone, and it didn't really dawn on me right away, but it showed everyone. I kind of knew subconsciously a little bit, but it dawned on me that Lozak is opening extremely wide, right? Okay, so at that point in time, I think I was tired. It was like late, early morning-ish, like 2, 3 in the morning. I was like tired, but I just realized that, yeah, even though it makes sense because Lozak is opening wide, yeah, I didn't take advantage of it all that much, but it's okay. I fold on the button.
knowing right away that Lil Zach would either fold or put Stevie all in, and Lil Zach does not disappoint. He put Stevie all in. Stevie shows Queen 5. And he wins that flip. That gets me kind of nervous because then now it seems like Stevie's starting to chip up, and my third place spot right now is starting to become threatened, and it's not feeling good. So I think the next hand I start to do something. Yeah. Yeah, I instantly call this one. Not happy, but I call it. And yeah, I hold, which is nice. So I'm still in third place, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about my chances here. At this point in time, I'm looking at it, and I really want to be in a heads up situation with Chris Meister. I do not like the fact that Lil Zach to my left right now, three-way, and if I could choose, Chris Meister would be my heads up opponent. So yeah. So Lil Zach decides to fold. Chris Meister calls like he normally does. I bet out like kind of small. Chris Meister jam like he always does, and I snap, and he calls, and he loses. At this point in time, I have first place lead here. Now this might be the hand where, no, I had to fold. There's a hand, I'm trying to remember if it's where it's at, but anyway, there's a hand where I definitely bluff off, or get Lil Zach to lay down a hand, and I'm not sure if I pass it or not, or whatnot, but anyway. Okay, so I raise here. Lil Zach folds, Chris Meister raises back, I like the flat, and of course Chris Meister stop goes me here. I decide to fold because it's too coordinated, and my queen high isn't the best a lot of the time, so I decide to fold. Yeah, it was not fun, but I had to fold it. Get folded to Chris Meister. He limps. Check. Again, anytime Chris Meister enters a hand, limping or whatever, any raise that happens, he calls. So I really couldn't put much pressure against him because he's just gonna call. Yeah, I decided to fold here. The King 6 offsuit. Wasn't really too keen on getting involved in anything here. And yeah, you see the action here. It just feels too two heavyweights going at it, so it's a step away, even though I have the big stack. And I'll say this for the most part, I wasn't too happy with my three-handed play. For the most part, I felt like I could have taken advantage and taken a lot of chips, but I ended up not doing so. So, yeah, it's just kind of disappointing because I felt in some sense it was a tournament for me to win, and yeah. This hand's kind of interesting. I like the limp here. And hang on, guys. I'm actually gonna pause this video for a second and explain a little bit of a thought process here, and then we'll go from there. But I elect to limp here, and for the most part, I'm usually folding my small blind, or I am raising my small blind. Never did I ever call or complete my small blind, I don't think, especially in a blind versus blind confrontation. So when Lil Zach sees that, he can put me on a range of like connectors, small cards, whatnot, what have you, right? Alright, so I'm gonna continue this in the fifth part of the video, or fourth part of the video, because we're about to hit the 15-minute mark here. So stay tuned for the thought process continuation in the next video.